Well, I'm so glad you all were able to come out tonight and have this experience with Bob. I have had the opportunities to work with cats like Chet Atkins and Tommy Emmanuel, and I want to let you know that in my personal opinion, I feel that Bob Weber is also another iconic guitarist on those guys' level back the day for what he was doing. So it was really an honor for me to actually meet Bob and hook up with him, and we've actually been working on a couple projects together. So that's even like a bigger bonus for me that I actually got to do some recording with the master here and stuff. And it was, I tell him a lot of times I'm like one of his biggest fans, I got to say, because I mean it means a lot to me to be around somebody with his skill level. And what I want to talk about, like when I say iconic, is this man came up with a guitar lick for Green-Eyed Lady, and most guitar players want to know how to play that lick, and that's what to me is kind of like an iconic lick. It's like a Zeppelin lick or something like that, like Heartbreaker or something like that, or a Hendrix lick that I know as guitar players, including myself, we always wanted to learn how to play and stuff like that. So, to me, that however it was done, it was amazing. I just want to let you know that's why I kind of am a big fan of yours, and I will kind of adorn you here with a bunch of gifts and everything, because I think you're great, and I'm really amazed at even the way you play too now and how great you do and how creative you were with it. So today my goal was at least let's hear about your story and everything, because I think what's important is how you started off as a Colorado cat, and then how you started playing in local bands, and then how you just were at the right place at the right time when you had a hit song and when all that happened. But then it's great for me to hear the stories about the Moonrakers and the astronauts and all that stuff you're into, because I didn't even know about that. So if you could, you want to just start with a little bit of your history with where it all started?
Well, first thing was listening to, I had a little transistor radio, which for my era was the smartphone, and it was always with me, carried it everywhere, transistor with batteries in it, and I just got enamored with recorded music. Just I didn't know what it was, but I just couldn't get away from it. And as I got a little older, I decided I wanted to play an instrument. My parents wanted me to play piano, so I, messed around on a piano, but I really wanted to play the guitar.
How old were you then?
I was 12 when I got inspired. I was 13 when I got my first guitar. And a couple other guys that I started in school with in 6th grade. I moved here from Ogden, Utah when I was in 5th grade, and I found some buddies in 6th grade. And some guys were playing in the band at school, and I wasn't. I played guitar on the side. And by the time we got into 7th grade, we had a little band, and we called ourselves the Vaqueros. And I've got a little family tree that was put together by George Krieger, formerly from the Colorado Music Hall of Fame. It kind of talks us through all the different evolutions that my career went through. And we played for school dances. We played in talent shows. We won a talent show in Aurora, which was quite a big deal. There were thousands of people at the performance where they awarded us with the first place trophy. Then
what kind of music were you playing then? Like
playing instrumentals and a couple
Bakersfield stuff. That's awesome.
Well, we were playing Ventures, did a couple of vocals, but basically instrumental music.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
I got enamored with Chet Atkins and was listening to Chet Atkins records all the time. And the world knows the Esurance commercial with
right.
with Clark's touch on that one that Chet Atkins played.
I wish I would have wrote that song though.
Don't you? And so, we did really well. Did well with that band, and I was getting better on the guitar, and I got invited into a stage band, which was horns. Typical stage band set of horns, a female singer, drums, piano, and the band leader brought me in, and so I was reading the charts and playing for a lot of bar mitzvahs, playing for a lot of parties that with older people at the parties, and at that time rock and roll started to really rear its ugly head at functions like that, and the band leader knew I could play guitar. Knew I could play rock guitar, so I ended up playing a couple of rock tunes. Played I think a couple of Chuck Berry tunes, and the people went nuts. And the people went nuts to the point that they didn't want to hear any more "My Heart Belongs to Daddy." They wanted to hear more rock and roll.
Yeah.
So the band leader said, okay, he read the tea leaves. So his big orchestra went away, and then we started this band called the Classics, okay? And the guy I'm talking about is Joel Barandis. So it was me and a couple of guys I've been playing with in my little band, the Vaqueros. And that evolved, of course, into the Surf Classics when the Beach Boys became very important. And then that evolved into a name change, and the addition was an all-guitar band with, you know, bass, 3 guitars, drums. We brought in Denny Flanagan and changed the name to the Moonrakers, took on the look of James Bond. We were wearing tuxedos and, you know, the ties.
Awesome.
And so we went out and we did a battle of the bands with the Astronauts. And the Astronauts were the biggest band at the time. And, you know, we did really well against the Astronauts. And that just launched the Moonrakers. We went to LA and recorded at some creepy little studio on the 3rd floor of some creepy little building on Vine. But the results were that we had a couple of #1 hits on Kim Radio, and we had a lot of people at Kim that were willing to promote us and come out to our concerts, and, you know, sponsor concerts, sponsor contests where high schools could win the Moonrakers for their graduation, win Moonrakers for their, you know, their proms or whatever. So, you know, it was an accelerating thing. And the Moonrakers actually were bigger in this town than Sugarloaf ever was. Moonrakers kind of went through a couple of iterations, and it ended up that Jerry Corbetta, who was a drummer, a child prodigy drummer, ended up taking over for our drummer who left. And so that was an iteration of the Moonrakers, and, you know, it spells that out in this little family tree or little org chart of the band. And we were kind of dissatisfied with our playing really cheesy music. We wanted to play some heavier stuff. We wanted to play Led Zeppelin. We wanted to play Vanilla Fudge. We wanted to jam. We wanted to, you know, do 7-minute jams. So Jerry said, let's start a band. And I mean, we had probably the biggest band in Denver for the last 4 years. We said, oh, let's start another band. Okay. You know, we obviously had no business sense, right? And this is Colorado Music Business Organization.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
you know, sorry, we had no business sense. All we had was a raw desire to play the best music we could play. Mm-hmm. So Jerry said, okay, let's make it a 4-piece band. It's going to be guitar, bass, drums, and I'm going to play keyboards. I don't want to play drums anymore. I hate drums. And he was a great keyboard player. So we decided that I could take the bass player, my friend Bob Raymond, for years, and he was going to bring in a drummer, Myron Pollock, who's his acquaintance and played in a number of bands around Denver. And so we started the band. Well, we needed a name. So, you know, came up with the name Chocolate Hair. All right.
I love that.
You know,
I think that's great.
I thought it was kind of stupid, but we went with it. And we were playing at bars in Denver, bars in Boulder, Fort Collins, Colorado Springs. You know, we were playing a bar scene. When I was playing in the Moonrakers, we typically played 2 nights a week. Played Friday night, Saturday night, and that was it. We didn't rehearse. You just, if you're going to learn a song, somebody would come in 30 minutes early and show you the song. And so playing with Chocolate Hair, we were playing 5 nights, 6 nights a week. And, you know, chops started really getting good. You know, we had acceptable chops in the Moonrakers, but certainly nothing like what we were getting when we were playing in these clubs 6 nights, 7 nights a week, 5, 6 nights a week. A couple of people got interested in us and brought some A&R folks out from LA.
When did you guys start writing, actually? Because, like, the Moonrakers, you were playing cover tunes, or were you writing then tune?
There were a few tunes I had written, and they kind of got co-opted. Melody and chord progressions got co-opted, and somebody from LA would write the lyrics. And so there wasn't much original writing. There was, you know, covers. We did Baby in the Moonrakers, Baby Please Don't Go, I'm All Right, I Don't Believe, which is not well known that it was a cover. That's one I sang for the Moonrakers. But basically covers, not much original writing. Denny Flanagan was the only one that was writing tunes for the Moonrakers. he wrote "You'll Come Back." There was another one, "Trip and Fall." He wrote that one, and that was pretty much it. When Corbetta and I would jam, and we play a song. We play "Communication Breakdown," Led Zeppelin. We do the verse and the chorus. Then we get into a jam, and we'd evolve the jam to the point where you didn't know that was Communication Breakdown. I mean, that was some other tune. And that was really basically how Green-Eyed Lady got written, just from jamming. And coming up with riffs, and he'd play something, and I'd answer him, and I'd play something, and he'd answer me.
That's awesome. So basically, a lot of the riffs came from you guys.
Just riffs came from jamming.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There was no sitting back and with a pipe and intellectualizing. Well, I think we ought to do a Lydian scale on top of a 7/5. No, we ought to do that. Let's just do that at half diminished. There was none of that crap. Just played. It sounded good. Right.
It's intriguing to me because I guess I would say that's part of the songwriting then in some ways too. Because
it was the songwriting.
If you came up with the riff,
was the songwriting.
That's just as much as part of the lyric too.
And that was probably the downfall that we spent so much time riffing. Nobody wrote melodies.
Right.
Nobody wrote lyrics. So when Chocolate Hair went to Hollywood to record, we recorded a bunch of cover stuff. And we had a couple of original things. I had written an original thing that we recorded. But most of it was just, we did Chest Fever and Train Kept a Rollin' and, some other stuff like that, covers. It was under the guise of, you guys going to do a demo for Liberty Records. So, okay. We did all these tracks, and then all of a sudden they come back and say, well, we're going to put this out. Well, I don't think so. That was a demo. Well, no.
Wow.
We're putting it out.
Wow.
Well, we need a song that's ours. We need an original song. So we took that riff, took that jam, and recorded the jam. And they got a couple of songwriters to come in and help Jerry, and they evolved the melody, and they evolved the words, which is just pentatonic scale and not really a chorus. I mean, the idea of a verse and a chorus, just kind of comes from the way that the lyrics transcend through the tune. So we recorded that, and I mean, it's easy to say this now, but every other track that we'd recorded, okay, that sounds all right, that sounds good. We're playing fine, got the chops. But on Green-Eyed Lady, when we got it to the point where I played the lead on it, Jerry sung the vocal, and we're listening back, we're in the control room listening back. And I said, man, that's a hit record. It just sounded like a hit record. Wasn't mixed yet.
Yeah.
Nothing, but it sounded like a hit record.
Yeah.
They went ahead and mixed it, and within probably that was over Christmas of 1969. By 1970, May, could have been April. They were already playing Green-Eyed Lady in the Northwest. By June, we were on the road heading up to the Northwest, playing in Washington and Oregon, and the song was going like top 10.